Wait, what planet are we invading? It's Earth, sir. Run, the alien yelled. Navigation Officer Krell's 3 eyes snapped open in perfect sync as his clawed hands froze on the holographic display around him. The bridge of the battleship terminus fell into that kind of silence that precedes catastrophe. What did you just say? Commander Baxter turned slowly from the observation window. His violet scales rippled with the onset of what his crew would later describe as existential dread. Sir, I checked the coordinates twice against the intelligence reports. The navigator's voice cracked. The planet we're about to invade doesn't appear as Primitive Colony 774. Then what is it? It's Earth, sir. The words hung in the recycled air of the bridge like a death sentence. For a full 3 seconds, no one moved, no one breathed. Then chaos erupted. Abort the invasion. Baxter lunged for the command console, but his tactical officer, a veteran warrior named Krelix, grabbed his arm. Sir, we can't. The assault pods have already launched. 5,000 troops are on descent vectors. They'll enter the atmosphere in 4 minutes. Bring them back now. The pods are non-returnable. They're one-way drop craft. Baxter felt his stomach sink through the floor armor. Communications. Send an emergency transmission to the entire fleet. All ships execute emergency. Immediately, the communications officer, a young woman named Tessara, looked up from her station, terror in her compound eyes. Sir, if we jump now, we abandon 5,000 troops on Earth. If we don't jump now, we lose them all. Baxter's roar echoed across the bridge. Earth. Do you understand what that means? From his station near the rear, the junior intelligence analyst, Mipkor, raised a trembling hand. Commander, perhaps I should say something. Not now. Sir, it's about Earth. I tried to flag it in my report 2 centuries ago. But which report? Myper's scales turned a pale blue indicative of severe anxiety, the one that said the target planet had a 97% match with the legendary death world of ancient warnings. No one read it because it was flagged as probable mythology. The bridge fell silent again. This time the silence had weight. History. The kind of silence civilizations remember. Show it to me, Baxter whispered. MIPC projected its analysis onto the main screen. Population 7 billion. Technological level, nuclear capability with early space presence, dominant species human, and buried there in the footnotes, a reference to the Galactic Council's first contact protocols. Specifically, Article 7, Subsection 3. Under no circumstances shall member species initiate hostile contact with Earth. Designation, Extreme Caution, Status. Do not interact because this wasn't in the main intelligence report. Baxter's voice it came back very low. Because, sir, the report was prepared by Admiral Kortak's team. They filter out anything they consider superstitious nonsense. The Admiral doesn't believe in old stories. What old stories? All of them. Sir, the ones about humans. Tactical Officer Krelix leaned forward. Commander, I've heard the stories. My grandfather served at a surveillance station near your system. He said humans are just myths the Council uses to scare aggressive species into submission. Propaganda. Your grandfather is still alive. Yes, sir. He has a trading post in the Andromeda sector. Call him. Just now, as Krelix awkwardly surfaced with his personal communicator, the navigator spoke. Sir, the first assault pods enter Earth's atmosphere in 90 seconds. You should contact them, warn them. Baxter looked at the blue-green planet growing on Vision's screen. It looked peaceful, beautiful, even exactly the kind of world the Krell Empire it was a place to conquer, rich in resources, with perfect climate zones, and, according to their intelligence, defended by a species that had barely figured out how to leave its own planet. Commander Krelix raised the communicator, his face the color of old ice. I managed to contact my grandfather. Does he want to speak with you? Baxter snatched the device. This is Commander Baxter of the Imperial Battleship Terminus. We are currently in Earth's system preparing to leave. The elderly voice on the other end didn't shout. It didn't need to. Leave immediately, abandon your soldiers. Abandon your ships if necessary, but get out of that system. We have 5,000 troops about to land. We can't just. Those 5,000 are already dead. Do you want to know why the Council has this protocol? It's not propaganda. 30 centuries ago, the Brex Hive tried to invade Earth. Do you know the Brex? 20 billion warriors. Biological weapons, a conquest fleet of 600 ships. What happened to them? The humans returned one ship, just one. As a message, it was filled with Brex bodies, all arranged in their own written language. The message read, "We don't want war, but we've been practicing for 5,000 years." Axter's blood ran cold. 5,000 years. Human history is 95% war, Commander. Not conquest, not expansion, just fighting amongst themselves. They've weaponized everything. Mathematics, music, their own atmosphere. They have protocols for scenarios we can't even imagine. Invasion protocols, first contact protocols, extinction protocols. That's impossible. Our intelligence tells us they're barely a spacefaring species. Your intelligence is seeing what they want you to see. Why do you think they're barely spacefaring? Because they're too primitive. Or did they learn by watching dozens of species tear each other apart trying to reach the stars too fast? The voice of old Krell. I tremble. They are methodical patients and have been observing the galaxy for a long time. Before most species discovered fire. First pods touching down, the navigator announced. Deployment zone, North American continent. Near a city called New York. On the vision screen, tiny trails of light marked the descent of the assault pods. 5,000 of the Krell Empire's finest warriors, trained for decades, equipped with plasma rifles and power armor, falling on a planet that supposedly didn't even have energy shields. Can we see the deployment zone? Baxter asked quietly, switching to surface observation satellites. We hacked their communications network during the approach. It was surprisingly easy, too easy, Baxter thought. The main screen flickered and showed a bird's-eye view of a vast human city. Glass and steel towers rose into the sky, highways filled with vehicles, millions of humans going about their daily lives. Then, the first assault pod impacted in what appeared to be a large park. The hatches burst open and the Krell warriors they poured out. Weapons at the ready, war cries echoing across the field. For exactly 7 seconds, nothing happened. Then every screen in the human city went dark. Every single one. At once, Commander, we're detecting massive energy fluctuations across the entire planet, the sensor officer reported. It's not a blackout, they're redirecting everything. Power grids, communications, even civilian networks. They're diverting everything to I don't know what. On the screen, the humans in the park simply stopped what they were doing. Runners halted mid-stride. People on benches looked up from their devices. Children playing froze. Everyone turned to face the Krell soldiers. This is wrong, Baxter whispered. Everything is wrong. They should be panicking, running, screaming. Commander, Tessara's voice cracked. We're receiving a transmission. It's on every frequency, every single one, even our encrypted military channels. Pass it on. A voice the bridge was filled. Human, male, serene as death. Attention, unidentified vessels. This is Earth Defense Command speaking. You have deployed hostile forces on sovereign territory. You have 60 seconds to withdraw your troops and leave our system. This is your only warning. Frakes gave a nervous chuckle. 60 seconds. We have 5,000 warriors on the ground and 300 warships in orbit. What are you going to do in 60 seconds? The human voice responded as if it had heard him. We are aware of the composition of your fleet. 317 ships. To be exact. Flagship, battleship. Terminus. Commander Baxter in command. He wants to know your ship's exact position, its speed, and the current harmonics of your shields. We have been tracking you since you entered the Oort cloud. That's impossible, the navigator muttered. That's 3 light years, 45 seconds away, the human voice continued. Take note, all major population centers are in lockdown. The civilian evacuation is over. Military response teams are deploying. We really don't want to do this. On the ground, Krell's soldiers had formed a defensive perimeter. They looked confused. The humans around them weren't attacking, weren't running, just watching, waiting. Sir, I'm detecting movement, said the subterranean sensor officer. Massive energy signatures, thousands of them, are rising to the surface all over the planet. What kind of signatures? No, I don't know, sir. The readings are off the charts. Whatever they are, they're huge and they're everywhere. 20 seconds, said the human voice. Final warning. Withdraw or face the consequences. We've defended this planet from worse than you, and we always will. Commander, orders. Krelix was pale. Baxter looked at the planet, at his soldiers on the ground, at readings that made no sense, at a species that should have been an easy conquest and instead felt like a trap closing in. Send the order to retreat, he said quietly. All ships, emergency jump, abandon troops on the ground, sir. We can just do it now. Before the human voice cut him off, time's up. On the surface, the ground around the Krell soldiers opened up. Not with explosions, but with things. Machines the size of buildings emerged from underground bunkers. Weapons hidden beneath parks and streets swung into the sky. And from the buildings themselves, from windows and rooftops and alleyways, humans poured out. But these weren't the civilians from a moment ago. These humans wore armor, carried weapons, and moved with the coordination of a species that had spent 5,000 years perfecting the art of killing. Retreat. Retreat. Commander Krell's voice on the ground crackled over the communicator. They have tanks, aircraft. They were ready for us. How? The transmission cut out in a burst of static. Get us out of here. Baxter shouted. Jump now, sir. 3 of our ships just disappeared from sensors, the tactical officer reported. No explosion, no debris, they're simply gone. Gone. I mean, they're not here anymore. Something hit them with energy weapons we can't even detect. They were wiped off the screen. Brilliant lances of light shot up from the Earth's surface. Not missiles, energy beams. At the speed of light. Each beam that touched a Krell ship erased it from existence. Jump drives charging, the navigator reported, his hands shaking. 30 seconds to jump. We don't have 30 seconds. Chris pointed at the tactical display. 17 ships destroyed. 22, they're hunting us down. How? How? Like we're the primitives. Baxter finished quietly. And we are. Another transmission came in. This time a different voice, female, also terrifyingly calm, remaining ships. Krell, this is your last chance. Surrender now and we will allow you to withdraw. Continue this attack and we will defend ourselves. You chose to invade Earth. You cannot choose what happens next. Jump drives ready. The navigator shouted. Everyone do it. Jump on my mark. 3, 2. The ship lurched violently. Alarms wailed in every station. Jump drive offline, the engineer reported. We were hit with something, some kind of electromagnetic pulse, but targeted, surgical, it only affected our jump drives. Do you want us to stay alive? Baxter realized with horror. Do you want us to watch from the ground? The battle was already over. The Krell soldiers who survived the first 30 seconds had surrendered. Those who hadn't lay motionless on the grass where they had fallen. The entire engagement lasted less than 2 minutes. Commander, we're getting a call, Tessara said quietly. It's Human Defense Command. They're requesting a direct line to you. Baxter straightened his command harness. He tried to find a shred of dignity. Bring them in. The face that appeared on the main screen was that of an older human. Gray hair, dark skin, and eyes that had seen too much. He wore a uniform with more decorations than Baxter could count. Commander Baxter. This is General Marcus Webb. Earth Defense Command. I'm told you're in charge of this invasion attempt. I am. General Webb, I command the fleet. Good, because I need you to deliver a message to whoever sent it. I'll relay any message you wish to the Creel High Command, not to them. Webb leaned forward. I need you to tell the Galactic Council. Tell them that Earth remembers. We remember when they attempted first contact 40 cycles ago. We remember when they watched us from the edge of our system, studying us like insects. We remember when they debated whether to integrate us into the galactic community or quarantine us as too dangerous. They chose quarantine. So it was, and we respected it. We built our civilization anyway. We explored our own system. We prepared for the day someone would forget why we were quarantined. Webb's expression hardened. You forgot, Commander. Your empire looked at the old records and decided they were myths. Tales to scare children. I'm beginning to understand they aren't tales. No, they aren't. Do you know how many invasion attempts we've stopped? How many? Yours is the dead one. The Brex tried. The Sinti, the hierarchy, all bigger than you. They all thought they could take Earth because we had no galactic presence. We're still here. None of them are. Baxter felt something inside him break. What do you want from us? From you personally. I want you to go home. Tell everyone what happened here. Tell them Earth doesn't want to conquer the galaxy. We don't want your resources or your territory. We just want to be left alone. Webb paused. But tell them also that if they can't leave us alone, they'll learn why the Galactic Council was right to fear us. And my ground troops, prisoners of war, and wounded soldiers will be returned when their government officially requests them through proper diplomatic channels, which means you're going to have to explain to your leadership why you invaded the one planet in the galaxy you should never have touched. I'll be executed for this failure, probably, but you'll die knowing you tried to warn them. That's more than most commanders get. Webb looked off screen, nodded to someone, and came back. Your jump drives are coming back online. You have 1 hour to leave this system. If you're still here after that, we'll assume hostility and respond accordingly. We'll leave immediately. One more thing, Commander. We know about your grandfather's trading station on Andromeda. Baxter's blood ran cold. How do we all know about you? We've been monitoring your empire for 20 years. We know your fleet deployments, your resource production, your political structure. We know which ships are obsolete and which captains are competent. We know this because we've been preparing for this exact scenario. Ever since we achieved spaceflight, Webb smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. They came here thinking we were primitive, and they were right. We are primitive. We've only had nuclear weapons for 80 years. Imagine what we'll have in another 80. Now imagine what we'll have in 1,000 years. The transmission ended. Baxter stood in the center of the bridge, surrounded by terrified officers, staring at a planet he had just shown the Krell Empire. A lesson he would never forget. Navigator said quietly, set course for home. Maximum speed. Yes, sir. Jump in 30 seconds. Commander Craik spoke excitedly. What do we tell High Command? Baxter thought of the 5,000 soldiers on Earth's surface, the ships that had been erased from existence, General Webb's calm voice, and the message that Earth would leave the galaxy in peace, as long as the galaxy left Earth in peace. "We tell the truth," he finally said. "We say that Earth is exactly what the old stories claimed, and we say that if you don't believe us, you can send another fleet. But we won't be on it." The ship skipped away, leaving the Earth system behind. In the observation chamber of the Galactic Council headquarters, 17 species watched the retreat in silence. "It could have been worse," murmured one ambassador. "Could it have?" asked another. "They just demonstrated to all who watched that they can destroy a Creel battle fleet in minutes. Do you know what message that sends?" "It sends the message that Article 7 exists for a reason," a third voice said. The speaker was an old one, a counselor who had served for 300 years. "Earth didn't ask for this confrontation, the Krell forced it upon us, and Earth responded with just enough force to win, but not enough to start a war. They could have destroyed the entire fleet, they could have kept the prisoners, they could have hunted down and eliminated the survivors. They did none of those things. So, they are merciful, they are strategic, they know that destroying the fleet would force the Creel Empire to respond. Keeping prisoners would create a hostage situation. Hunting them down would make them look aggressive. Instead, they sent a message, leave us alone, and we'll leave you alone. Attack us, and you'll regret it." The old counselor's eyes gleamed with something akin to respect. "Humans are exactly what we feared, not because they are violent, but because they're good at violence. There's a difference. What do we do now? We update Article 7, adding details of this encounter. We make it very clear that Earth must not be contacted without the Council's approval, and we hope that humanity decides it's ready to join us. Because sooner or later it will, and when it does, the galaxy will change in ways we can't imagine." Back on Earth, in a bunker beneath Washington, D.C., General Webb stood before a wall of screens showing the Krell fleet skipping away. Around him, the command center buzzed with activity as systems were shut down and civilian areas were declared safe. "Sir, all enemy ships have left the system," an aide reported. "We need to lower the alert level." "Not yet. Keep all defensive systems active for another 6 hours. I want to make sure they're really gone." "Sir, the President wants to speak with you." Webb nodded and walked over to a secure terminal. The President's face appeared. Exhausted, but relieved. "Marcus, tell me we didn't just start a war." "We didn't start it, ma'am. We ended it before it could really begin. The Krell. They know what it costs to attack Earth. They won't try it again, and the others, the ones who are watching, will think twice, maybe 3 times. That was the goal." The President rubbed her eyes. "I've been reading the think tank projections. They say we can't go on like this. Every few decades, some empire decides we're easy prey, and we have to show them why we're not. Eventually, one will be strong enough that we can't stop it. With all due respect, ma'am, I disagree. Every time this happens, we learn, we improve. This time, we captured Krell technology. Their jump drives are more efficient than ours. Their energy weapons are more accurate. Give our engineers a year, and we'll have rebuilt everything in 2. We'll have improved it, and if they all come at once, a coordinated attack, we'll have a hard smile. Then you'll learn why we spent 5,000 years fighting each other, ma'am. Because when humans stop fighting each other and start fighting together," he glanced at the screens displaying the deployment of ground-based defensive forces. "Millions of soldiers ready, thousands of weapons platforms concealed across the planet, orbital defenses capable of sterilizing a world. There is nothing in this galaxy that can stop us when we are united." The President was silent for a moment. "I hope you're right, Marcus, because I have a feeling this is just the beginning." "It always is, ma'am. But will we be ready?" "We always are." On the Krell flagship, now adrift and powerless in Earth orbit, High Admiral Korzak sat in his command chair staring at black screens. Around him, his officers worked frantically to restore basic systems. Life support was down, communications were down, weapons completely dead. "Admiral," shouted his communications officer. "We're receiving a transmission. Only audio is coming from one of the approaching human repair ships. Pass it on." A human voice filled the bridge. Young woman speaking. "A flawless Krell. Krell flagship. Absolute victory. This is Repair Team 7 of the Earth Defense Force speaking. We are here to restore your life support systems and bring your propulsion back online. We will dock at your main airlock in 2 minutes. Please do not panic. We are not here to harm anyone." Cortax's pride fought against reality, the largest fleet in his empire, disabled in 90 seconds. And now humans were coming to repair their ships. The humiliation was almost unbearable. "Why?" he asked aloud, not even knowing if the channel was still open. "Why help us after we attacked you twice?" The human voice answered instantly, "Because that is what civilized beings do, Admiral. You made a mistake, a terrible mistake. But we are not going to make it worse. By letting them die in space, their crews will return home. Their ships will be repaired enough to jump into their territory and carry our message to the galaxy. What message could possibly matter after this defeat? The message that Earth doesn't want enemies. We want neighbors, but we will only accept neighbors who respect us." A pause. "We studied their culture. Admiral. We know the Kreel value strength above all else. Well, they have seen our strength. Now they are seeing our mercy. Which do you think is more powerful?" Korzak had no answer. The repair teams arrived, humans in suits carrying equipment, speaking politely to their terrified crew. They worked with an efficiency that bordered on art. In 3 hours, they restored enough for the flagship to limp home. As they prepared to leave, the team leader, a young woman with kind eyes visible behind her helmet, addressed Korzak directly. "Admiral, my grandfather fought in the Eurasian Wars. He told me something I'll never forget. He said that the true measure of a civilization is not how it treats its friends, but how it treats its defeated enemies. We could have destroyed their fleet. We chose to save it. I hope that means something to you." She left before he could reply. Aboard one of the Kreelan ships in use, a young warrior named Tracekal watched the human repair technicians work on the reactor. They moved about with ease, chatting amongst themselves in their language. Every now and then, one would turn to him or his companions and explain what they were doing. Always courteous, always professional. "Why are you being so nice to us?" Tracekal finally asked. "We came to conquer your world." The lead technician, an older man with graying hair, stopped. "Do you know what my job was? Before I joined the Defense Force, what was it? I was a teacher, high school physics. I had a classroom full of kids like you, scared, confused, trying to understand a universe that seems hostile and dangerous." The man smiled sadly. "You're not my enemy, kid. Your leaders did send you here to die for their pride. We won't allow that to happen if we can prevent it. But we invaded your planet, we tried to kill to your people. You followed orders. That doesn't make you evil, it makes you a soldier, and soldiers deserve to go home when the fight is over." The technician returned to his work. "Besides, we've read your history. The Krell Empire conquered 200 worlds, built a civilization among the stars. That takes intelligence and courage. We respect that. What we don't respect is the part where you thought you could conquer us." Tracekal watched him for a long time. Finally, he asked the question that had been burning inside him. "What would you have done if we had won? If we had somehow breached your defenses?" The technician stopped working. His expression hardened. "Then, you would have seen why Earth has survived 14 invasion attempts. Every civilian you saw evacuating to shelters, yes, they're all trained to fight. Every city you thought you'd occupy is a death trap designed to bleed the invaders dry. Every human on this planet grew up with invasion drills. We don't practice surrendering. We practice making the cost of victory so high that no one wants to pay for it.